things we have to worry about when buying coffee to bring home is its freshness. Now, coffee doesn't go bad in the same way other foods do. It's not milk. It doesn't go sour. Coffee is not milk. But what it does do is it loses a lot of the aromatics that make it taste good. A lot of what coffee is when we enjoy it are the smells. The majority of what we taste is what we smell. And when coffee has been sitting for long enough, the gases that are trapped within the bean during the roasting process dissipate. That dissipation is called degassing. And so our goal in coffee storage is to make sure that as much of the gases as possible can stay within the bean itself. And the best way to be able to do that is by keeping the coffee whole bean. Within the first 30 minutes after you grind coffee, majority of those aromatics I just described are gone, about 70%. So that's why if you have a friend or you yourself grind coffee at the cafe and then bring it home, it starts losing that awesome smell really quickly. It smells amazing in your car as you drive home, but after a day or two, it's gone. It's because majority of the gases that are trapped in the bean are gone. They're dissipated. All the doors and windows are open. All the gas has gotten out. And so if you wait until you grind right before you brew, then it's going to definitely stay a lot fresher for a lot longer. Now, in addition to that, some of the main questions people usually have are, can I freeze it? Yes, but with some conditions. Can I just store it in a Ziploc bag? Yes, but with some conditions. The idea with storage of coffee is you want to make sure that it's a cool, dry place out of the sun. So cool and dry means that heat, either from the sun or other places, have a tendency to be able to degrade coffee. So make sure it's in a cool place out of the sun. Now, the other thing is airtight and dry. Coffee is brewed with water. So it's just logical to know that if you are not sealing it properly and moisture gets into it, it's not going to taste as good. It's going to have some degradation that'll happen from that moisture. So majority of the recommendations we have usually are stainless steel containers. That's why we offer one that are able to be completely sealed. So it's able to stay dry, out of the sun, and with the dual wall insulation, it means that the temperature is not going to factor in as much. If you do freeze it, make sure that it's airtight because, as we all know, there's a lot of stuff in a freezer that has nothing to do with the coffee. So if you have something that's open to the environment, even if it's the environment of your freezer, it's going to start absorbing different flavors. And nobody necessarily wants a chicken nugget flavored coffee. But if you do freeze your coffee and you've done it properly where it's dry and it's in an airtight container, make sure to take it out a little ahead of time before you actually brew it. Because brewing with frozen coffee, and if you put hot water over it, logically you can imagine it's like brewing with ice cubes. It's going to take the temperature of the water down, and then the water's not hot enough to be able to then brew the coffee properly. So, fundamentals of coffee storage. Keep it whole bean as long as possible to keep the gases in. And if you are storing it in something, make sure that it's out of the sun and it's in a cool place. Make sure it's dry. And if you freeze it, make sure to take it out usually the night before to make sure it gets brought up to room temperature. Because if you don't, it's going to be too cold and it'll make the brewing water too cold as well, and it won't brew as well. And if you do all of that, there's a tendency for coffee to last a lot longer and be a lot fresher and taste a lot more like it does at the cafe if you just store it properly.